I joined the service in 1969. I did my basic training and everything at Fort Gordon, Georgia. From there, I volunteered. I went to Vietnam. I spent 2 tours there. I extended while I was there, came back and went back again. And then from there, they sent me to Germany. I spent about 10 years in Germany. And from there, they sent me back stateside. I did my short tour I did in Turkey. I spent 6 months in Turkey. Then I came back to the States in Fort Sill, Oklahoma. No, I'm sorry. Went to Washington. I was with a mechanized infantry unit. I was communications, so I was with all the different services in the Army. And mechanized, and they switched us down to Fort Ord. And then our unit there got selected to be part of the multinational force, so we went to Sinai for the peace treaty between Israel and Egypt. And we were stationed there for about 6 to 8 months. Came back stateside to Oklahoma, to the artillery unit. From there I went to Fort Ord, California. And there we were, there is where I spent the rest of my time, which was like the last 3 years. And towards the end of my 20 years in the service, I had back surgery there and ended up getting, not a medical discharge, but they gave me my retirement, 20 years of retirement. I was on like a convalescent leave or whatever throughout the rest of my 6 months I had left in the service, and then I retired from there and moved here to Lakeland, Florida, and I've been here ever since. I think my biggest one, when I was at Fort Ord, California, when our unit got selected to go to the Sinai, I thought that was quite interesting. And because again, I was in communications, so I was in charge of the floor shows and stuff like that. So I'd go to Israel to pick up a floor show and bring them back to the peninsula, and then another time I'd go to Egypt. I've seen the Pharaoh. I've been through the pyramids. I've taken a trip down the Nile, and I got to see a lot of things that I'll never see again. And the other interesting tour, of course, was Turkey. Completely different, you know, all Muslim, all the ladies had their scarves over their face, and that was up in a mountaintop where I could see Mount Ararat, which was where supposedly Noah's Ark was found, up on top of this mountain. And we were way up, and snowed 9-10 months out of the year, but we had the munitions, and the Turkish had the weapons to fire the munitions. And since I was the communications, I was part of they did move the munitions out of Turkey, out of the spot I was at. And I was set up the communications to move these weapons, not weapons, but the ammo that goes in the weapons out of the country. And we had to keep communications with the bird all the way throughout the flight. And I think the military in Italy took over the communications until they got back stateside or wherever I don't even know where they went, but I'm not sure if this is all still declassified or not, because that was a pretty well classified thing that I was on there, and got to see a lot there. And every time we went off the detachment in a vehicle, like we had to go down to the airfield to pick up our food or whatever and drive it back up, we always there was always at the gate, there was a armed van full of Turkish army that would follow us into town and follow us back. And basically what that was, if we ran into troubles, because we were in the mountains and there was a lot of Turkish people out there. Matter of fact, at the bottom of my hill was a big stadium, outside stadium, and that's where they would hold the big trials for all their, better word, I guess, just outlaws. They find out doing things, doing that, and they held their trial out there, everybody at one time. But it was basically that van was basically They opened up the back doors to it, and it was a machine gun crew. And so that was tight security there, but I enjoyed going to places like that. I rather be in the places like the stateside. The stateside was all, stateside duty was just PT, cleaning up, what do you call that? Picking up cigarette butts and this, that, and that, and that's, we did our training, of course, and the training was good, but it was exciting. I did just over 20 years by the time I finally retired, and I enjoyed my service there throughout my entire career. I really did. I'll never see these places again in my life. And during that time, of course, I got to go to, when I was in Vietnam, one time, my first tour, I went to Japan. So I spent a couple of weeks in Japan. And then I went to Australia, the second tour, spent a couple of weeks there. I'll just never see the country again like this again. I'll never see it again.